Welcome to the Charity First Handicapping Show. I put Charity First Handicapping Challenge at the top. My fault. This is actually a handicapping seminar.
A preview show. Yeah.
Close enough, right? Preview show.
Charity, so any extra attention for charity is great, right?
That's yes. Right. Yeah. I'm not, put it this way. This was put on, the outside of this was put on before I got on. I don't even know how to switch it. So we're just going to go with this.
You are in the purest word, talent.
Yes. Thank you very much. Giorgio could be joining us live, but we're just going to get this started, go over some of the big races on the card, and then give maybe our best play of the day and call it a day. Hopefully we can help a few people who are tuning in. So let's go right to race 4, guys, the Santa Anita Oaks. And Skip, I'll start with you. Is a dare man or a free square here in the early pick 5?
You know, I really think so. She's been so impressive since she's tried 2 turns. She's such a big filly. She's good looking, big filly. They paid $375 for her. She's came back, both A-minuses works. She's training great. I think she's going to be very, very tough to beat in here. I will say this, Under the Stars worked real good the other day also, the other Yak team. But look, you know, she just beat Mike Rocher, and Mike Rocher come out of that race and won by 4.5 lengths. So that just validates how good Adair Maynor is, I think.
Gino, any thoughts any differently?
If I'm trying to beat her, I think I'd look to Ain't Easy, just with the way that what we know about Ain't Easy. She was 2 for 2 last year. She was really training well. She was going to go into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies as probably like the 3rd choice. And then she had an issue. She had an injury. She had to miss a bunch of time. She came back this year in March, and she ran sort of exactly like you would have figured a horse who missed a bunch of time. She was down on the inside. She was in sort of a bad spot. She was kind of behind horses. She got pushed back a little bit. She wanted to go, you could tell, but she didn't really have a whole lot of room. And she was kind of trying to shift off the rail. And even late, they kept trying to get her off the inside. It just didn't seem like she loved it. I wouldn't be shocked if they try to get maybe aggressive from the inside and try to hold that position down there. Or I would not be shocked to see her take a big step forward out of that race. She's one that's been on my radar for a while. Sometimes that's good and bad, right? You follow one for a long time and then you keep following them. But I'll at least give her one more shot today.
Okay, the only thing, you know, like you said, she probably needed that race off the layoff since October. You know, first time as a 3-year-old. The only thing that's a little bit interesting that Gino and I spoke of, and Skip and I did this morning, if you go on XBTV, last week, Desert Dawn and Ain't Easy worked together, and visually it looked like Desert Dawn, who's 20-1, actually got the best of Ain't Easy. Yeah. You know, you never know how those are designed, but I think all 3 of us, just on a visual aspect, thought that work might be a little bit better. But I think clearly Adair Manor, who's going to be 1 to 5 guys, she should be ultra tough in here.
I guess the one thing to mention at least is that we're going to start to see now the transition from the Baffert horses over to Yakteen, right? In a couple different spots. So I don't know if that's going to make any difference, but maybe their routine will be a little bit different in a different barn. I'm sure they'll be fine, but just at least something to monitor, because these are going to be short price horses in a lot of situations. So anything different or anything that could be at least worth maybe taking a swing against, at least worth mentioning.
Right.
All right, let's move on to race 5, the next in the sequence, the Grade 3 Providencia, 1.125 on the turf. Gino, which way are you heading in this interesting race?
I've mentioned this horse a few times when we've talked. I'm going to the Bahamas, the island in the Bahamas, baby. I'm going to Eleuthera from the inside. It doesn't seem like there's all that much speed in here. You know, maybe Lucky Girl is one that can kind of press a little bit, but there's not really that much pace. Eleuthera may not be as good as some of the others in here, but this filly showed ability first time out of the box. She ran really, really well for a barn that doesn't really crank them first time out. They actually put her in a stakes race against the boys sprinting on the dirt in her second start. It's kind of a weird spot. Since she's returned, she's actually raced pretty well. They took a shot in a stakes race, and she had some trouble that day. I think she gets a nice stalking trip from the inside. Eleuthera hopefully gets a little bit of a pace. Is there like a leak going on up there? What are you looking at up there? It's distracting me. I was like,
Frank Miramati gave out a play on the radio show this morning at Keeneland. So I think both Skip and I were watching race 2 at Keeneland.
Of course. There we go.
While we were listening to you about Eleuthera, yes.
Okay, there we go.
We,
Yeah,
I was
He's
listening.
looking up. I'm looking to the side.
I was like, it's not raining. Is there a leak going on?
We we were listening. We were watching also, and yes, Antia, I do owe you $1. Seminar Skip, what are your thoughts here in the fifth?
You know, there isn't a lot of speed in there, like Gina was saying, and the one did stumble last time, and that was impressive. I don't know how good of a race that was, but it was impressive the way that she did it, and I think they're going to put her on the lead from the inside. But one of my best plays of the day is the 3 Cairo Memories. You know, this horse at Del Mar, first time out, won just unbelievable by 4.5 lengths. Bob Hess was on TVG, said the horse wasn't even fully cranked that day, and she just aired. She came back in the Surfer Girl at Santa Anita and won very nicely. Then she had trouble in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Fillies, and still she got 9th, but she was only beat 2 lengths. Then they tried the dirt, and I didn't know how she would go on the dirt, but the race at Los Alamitos, she ran really, really good to Etta. And I don't know what happened last time, but I'm sure glad they're putting this filly back on the grass. I think that's where she wants to be. I love Mike Smith is on her, and I think she's going to be very, very tough to beat today. And I love the 7-2 price, and I think I'll get that.
It's funny, you know, we're talking about Eleuthera, it was an interesting replay there, and Cairo Memories getting back to the turf, as we talked about this morning, that maybe Miss Maddie B will be another one that should maybe go back to the grass as well for Bob Hess, who ran yesterday at Keeneland. We haven't even mentioned a Phil D'Amato, first-time Euro shipper, who he's been dominating throughout the 16 Arches.
Yeah.
The one thing that we can't tell, I don't know, Gino, if you got to catch that race. I did not see that particular race. There are no works on XBTV for this filly, so it's hard to kind of get a gauge on
That
where.
was impressive. It was a big field too that this
Yeah.
one beat. You can watch these races a lot of times on whatever your ADWs are, because you can watch a lot of the international races. It was impressive. It's just so hard to gauge if they stack up. I'm not quite as high on this one in this spot. I mean, obviously she wouldn't shock. I'm probably going to be 1, 3, 4 in this race, I think. I mean, Lucky Girl is in really nice form too. It's tough to really knock what this one's been doing as of late. You can make legitimate excuses for the race when she actually was a maiden and didn't break her maiden in against maiden special weights on December the 27th. They thought enough of that to go and try a stakes race as a maiden, and she's won back-to-back stakes races. So she's legit also. I'll probably use 1, 3, 4 in early pick 5s.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, in both of those wins, Joe Bravo has made that same move where he makes a big sweeping move at about the half-mile pole and goes early, and he's done it twice in a row. So the race shape should be very interesting there. All right, Santa Anita Derby time, guys. Obviously, it's looking like the big matchup between Forbidden Kingdom, Messier, and how the pace is going to play out. Skipper, what are your thoughts here?
You know, I've been really high on Messier from the get-go. I actually told a couple friends to make sure you bet a couple future books on Messier. You know, and I was hoping they'd take the blinkers back off. For whatever reason, her 2 best races have been without blinkers, or his best races have been without blinkers. I love the way that he won last time. I don't think it beat much. I think Cabo Spirit's more of a turf horse for Papa Padromo, but boy, that was sure impressive. And anytime you win by 15 lengths, and basically, you know, he wasn't getting asked that much, you know, you got to be impressed with it. The horses come back to work really good under Tim Yaktine. B+ works. I watched it. They're not the fastest of works, but just the way that he was doing it, I love. This is a big colt, and he's got a big stride. He doesn't have that burst, you know, that burst of energy, but he's a grinder. So I think the farther they run, the better for Messier. And now they're going 1 mile and an eighth, which is 110 yards farther than he ran last time. I think with Tim Yaktine having 3 horses in here, I don't know if one of those is going to be a rabbit or try to go and put a little pressure on Forbidden Kingdom. I don't know, but I love Messier in here. I know it's going to be a short price, even money. If I could get even money, I'll take it. So I like Messier.
Well, that's the key to the race. Probably Gino is here. Is like Skip said, Yakteen has 3. Forbidden Kingdom. One thing we know, 2 things: ultra talented, ultra fast. Someone's going to try to go with this horse early to soften up the pace somewhat.
And then in the nicest way possible, this isn't a great betting race, but they did a good job of where they located the race. It's not in the early pick 5. It's not in the late pick 5, right? This is a really important race as far as what's going to happen in a month. But I'm rooting for Forbidden Kingdom. And I would love to see him, because I like horses that are like this, that are just, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run really fast. And if you try to run really fast, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. And you're probably not going to be able to deal with it, and you're going to back up. Like, this is an old school horse, right? It's like I was joking yesterday with a couple guys. It reminds me of boxing. Like, Mike Tyson can tell you, hey, I'm going to punch you in the face. You can do everything you can to stop him, but what are you going to do, right? That's sort of like Forbidden Kingdom with that speed. And that's what I wonder about. Even with all of these horses, are any of them strong enough or good enough to keep up with him early? Because we saw Armagnac kind of try to last time.
No dice.
Yeah. Now they got a sprinter. I say they. Yakteen throws a sprinter, Taiba, a horse who actually had legitimate sprint speed. I think he's got ability, but I don't know about going 6 furlongs to a mile and an eighth. He feels like he might be in there just to really make things difficult on Forbidden Kingdom. So is he going to be able to withstand like punch number 1, and then maybe Armagnac comes after him early, like punch number 2, and then here comes Messier? I'd love to see it. I'm rooting for it. And then I'm starting to like outthink this, right? Does Forbidden Kingdom, they don't need to win this race. They've already got themselves a spot. Did they do something weird and like maybe see if he can sit because they know he can go? And if somebody else goes early, do they just go, oh, let's see if we can rate off. And if we run second or third, it doesn't really matter. Because if that doesn't work, we can just send hard in the Derby again. I don't know. I'm outthinking myself because I've seen that happen in prep races like that. But just, he's got the points. You know he's already got a spot. So he doesn't really need to win this race. That's my only worry. That's what makes it difficult for me in particular. And I'm glad it's not in the middle of like a big sequence where I have to take a real stand. If I was leaning one way or the other, I'd probably lean Messier, just sitting and like kind of falling into it. But then I look at Messier. He got a big figure last time out. His other figures weren't really close to that. Was that something that just was one of those outliers, and maybe he comes back to like a high 80s, low 90s buyer, and he wasn't really like the horse who ran a 103? I don't know. So that's what makes this race fun. I would be pretty surprised if it wasn't one of those two. I will say that,
Or, well, 2 things. First, or maybe Messier just doesn't like Los Al, which he's actually lost at both times.
Yeah.
But I think all 3 of us are in agreement.
Easily, when they raced against each other before, feels like Forbidden Kingdom is better now, though. So it's,
Yeah, I think the thought is it's not a good betting race. Let's just hope it with a large crowd on hand that turns out to be, which could be a terrific match race.
Forbidden Kingdom with Messier looming up. That's sort of
Correct.
What we want, right?
Yeah. All right. We move on to race 7, a mile on the turf, the Royal Heroine, a grade 2. Skipper, is this a matter of going global being too tough? I know we've got another very talented Phil D'Amato in there, or does a horse like Park Avenue maybe sneak away with not a whole lot early speed in here?
I hate trying to be like, I'm not a chalk player, but every horse that I've given out, I just don't know if they could beat these ones. Going global is the class of the race, obviously. I love the way that she's been working. You can't work any better than she's been working. I was going to try to beat her with the other D'Amato, XL Arena, but boy, that last work, they worked together, and Going Global beat her by at least like a length and a half going away. And I just think Going Global sitting on tilt. And I think it's going to be very tough. The only thing is there's not a lot of speed in the race. I mean, we know Park Avenue is going to go. And Park Avenue took to the grass very nicely last time, and a real good time, a good buyer. Does maybe John Vasquez on the 3, Javenica, does he try to go and put a little pressure? I don't know if she's that quick, but regardless, I think that going global is going to fall into the perfect spot, and I think she's going to get the job done here. And the class of the race.
And she's clearly not only a win machine, but she's also 4 for 4 at Santa Anita.
Yep.
What are your thoughts, Gino?
Yeah, I mean, I would lean Park Avenue if you're trying to beat her. She's the only other one. I don't think Accelerina is quite that is good. And I don't think Accelerina doesn't seem like she gets a pace advantage. That's my only concern. So I sort of agree with Skip in that if I was going to play between going global and Accelerina, I think going global is much classier. At least with Park Avenue, we can project maybe she gets a few lengths jump on her. And shout out to Haldo, who I think gave this horse out on the radio show this morning, right? Didn't he give out Park Avenue?
Yeah, although I don't think he had any idea that the Park Avenue had a pace advantage, but we'll give him credit for giving that horse out.
I don't think you knew the horse was 4-1 either.
I was just going to say that's way high for Hal. That's
no.
5-2 or under normally. Yeah.
Yeah. This would be his longest shot of the year if he hits it. Let's put it that way. So
the way I've been talking, I might be Hal Jr.
I know.
4 to 5 even money. So
we joked about it, but they stacked the card this way, I think, in a smart way, because the late pick 5 now is a great betting pick 5 sequence. And if you would have had a couple of these races in there, it might not have been as good of a sequence betting. So you get all the good quality stakes races that may like the stars that aren't as good, as like big betting races, and then the really good betting stuff at the end. It makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Yep. They put all the we said sometimes there's not all the quantity, but there's a lot of quality out here in the stake races. Yeah. And then all the meat on the bone is at the end for the pick 5. And it looks like
you get the best of both
big balloons. Yeah. So you got two different days in one, basically. Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna end it with this. Let's go, each of us, all three, maybe pick out either a price play, something that somebody can maybe make some money on. And Gino, I'll anywhere in the card. I'll start with you, Gino.
Yeah, let's go to race number 10, the Evening Jewel. I know you like a horse in here, Professor's Pride, and I think Professor's Pride is very, very logical. We'll be flashing some speed. Getting back to the dirt makes a lot of sense. I'm probably going to use 2 horses in my late pick 5 in most exotics. The 6 and the 9 is the one that I really like. Your Honor. This filly's done like nothing wrong. She's raced in her career 6 times. In her debut, she won first time out of the box. She came right back. She finished second in a 50 starter. She won her 3rd time out, going 7 on the dirt. She came right back again to win, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. And then she was in the grass on February the 13th in a race where she had a ton of trouble. She came back on March the 26th. She might have had more trouble and still won that race. It was unbelievably impressive. And it feels like the distance, 6.5 on the dirt, is perfect for her. She's honest. She's versatile. She's just not a horse that is going to get a ton of play because she doesn't come out of a very big barn. But I do like that Mikey's jumping aboard. There's some weird musical jockeys going on in this race that we talked about, but I'm going to use a lot of 6 and 9 in here. And I think the 9, Your Honor, anything in that like 6 to 1 or above range, that's a great price for a horse who always shows up and gives her all.
Yeah. And like you said in there, a couple things about the 6 and the 9, a couple of under the radar type of trainers. So maybe you'll still get your price. And Your Honor, terrific outside draw with that tactical speed, and is 1 3 of 4 on dirt. So obviously can handle the dirt. Skipper, what's your price play and where?
Gino, going back to that race, and I love when they go route to sprint and turf to dirt. It's an angle that I like, and I've had a lot of success doing that. So I'm right there with you. That's, the 6 and 9, absolutely. My price play is going to be, I gave it out on the radio this morning. It's the 8th race. Maiden 50,000. I like the way that number 7, Economical, is training. I like the breeding on this horse. It's bred to win early. Sean McCarthy's having a great meet. He's winning at 25%. When he debuts a maiden claimer, he wins at 25%. This horse, none of the workout sheets write it up. It's C pluses or C's, which I like because I saw with my own eyes how this horse is working. Maybe I'm not very smart when it comes to it, but I like what I see. And at 12 to 1, I'm taking a shot with number 7, Economical, in the 8th race.
Damn one, 5 multiple winning sibs too. For a maiden claimer Calbred, the pedigree's not bad. There's a lot of winners there. It's sneaky.
Right. Yep.
And I Skip and I talked on the way to the radio show this morning, and I had watched that work on XBTV and wrote good work next to it as well. So at least visually we're on the same page. We might be wrong, but we both like the work. So you put in the work, you got to go with your own gut and what you see. So
and that kicks off that pick 5 that you got to fire away on over on First Bet, because that late pick 5 today, like we said, it's juicy. They stack those races purposely. I'm going to put out a ticket in just a little bit. I'm going to be spreading out there. I think I might be singling Anaconda. I'm thinking about it, but I might go too deep with the other horse that you mentioned, Gregdar, in there. I was looking at it. I know you like that horse a little bit in the 11th race, but I've been sort of Anaconda down the hill. Just feels like that's going to be perfect. Like, it just feels like it's going to set up really, really well. So I'm looking at the late pick 5. I'm going to be firing away and post a ticket a little bit later on social media once I kind of check all the scratches and everything.
Okay. Well, so you kind of got to what my play was going to be, because it was going to be exactly what you just mentioned. But
I set it up for you. There you go.
I do agree that Anaconda is the one to beat. That race off of a long layoff was ultra impressive. And then even the race last time out, going long with some trouble against a horse, Evening Sun, who's turned into a very nice horse for Jeff Mullins. Cutting back, Anaconda looks clearly the one to beat, and that's still 5-1. Mm-hmm. My price play is going to be the 6 Gregdar, like we just spoke of, also third off of a long layoff. And I think if this horse makes another move forward, will be coming late. And I think for Phil D'Amato, obviously excels on the turf. This horse has had some trouble a couple of times. Skip bet this horse the last time, and look look for Gregdar. I think, like somebody mentioned on the way home today, when they're going 6.5 on the flat, it seems to favor speed a little bit more. When you're going down the hill, sometimes you like those closers or route horses cutting back. And I think third off the layoff, this horse is going to be primed for a big race today. So Gregdar is going to be my long shot. So any last comments real quick? We got about 2 minutes. We'll get out of here. Gino?
Oh, man, it's a fun day of action. Don't forget about those pick'em contests, right? For anyone that's watching, pick'em.santanita.com. I just got my entry in. Today's questions have some pick the winner of some of the races. There are props about the Santa Anita card. There's some baseball props. There's a hockey prop in there. There's some NBA props. So if you're a sports fan, totally free to get involved. $500 to the winner every Saturday, every Sunday. Chappie, you've been doing a really good job with those. They're fun. They're like my my teasers when I dive in there, my critical thinking questions. So jump on in.
It's a lot of fun. You've been my partner in crime, helping me come up with some clever different ideas to go different ways. So Skipper, any last words? You look sharp there, buddy. All black today. I like it.
Thank you. Trying to get dressed up for Derby Day. I just want to say good luck to everybody. Hopefully we all do good, and we've given some good information. It's a great day of racing all over the country. I can't wait to get out to Santa Anita. It's a great card, and I'm excited. It's going to be crowded, and I love it. So good luck to everybody.
Good luck to everybody. Terrific card today. First post, remember, noon, 12 races today. So plenty of betting opportunities. Guys, thanks for the time. Everybody who's watching, good luck. Let's make some money. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks,
good luck, everybody.